Have you ever heard the phrase correlation does not imply causation? It's just a fancy way of saying just because events are related doesn't mean that they're the cause of an outcome, right? So, quick example. Yeah, you go to Aunt Betty's house and she bakes a chicken, and you're there and you devour it, you destroy it, every drop of it. And Aunt Betty thinks, oh, they love my chicken. My chicken is the best. And the truth is, as it turns out, that you devoured the chicken because you'd been on a 7-day fast and you're just literally starving to death. So that is an example of correlation does not imply causation. So how does this relate to The Doors' last two albums? A lot of people don't realize, if they're even thinking about The Doors, which a lot of people are also not doing, but The Doors actually had two albums come out after Jim Morrison died in 1971. And I think the reason why a lot of people don't know about them is because they were both total flops. And I had always thought, yeah, the reason why those albums flopped was because they didn't have Jim Morrison in them. And that seemed obvious to me. And despite the fact that like a lot of bands have actually gone on with different singers and been very successful, like Van Halen, Black Sabbath, Genesis, those are all bands that swapped out singers and went on to have, in some cases, actually all of those cases had even more success. Maybe not Black Sabbath. Anyway, finally I listened to those two Doors albums that were without Jim Morrison. And as it turns out, I know music is subjective, but objectively, those two albums suck. They're like musically, they're terrible. And Jim Morrison could have been right there doing his Lizard King thing along with them, and they would have sucked just as bad. Awful albums. So I learned in this example that your assumptions are often misleading. We learn this same lesson all the time in life, by the way, but this is a bit eye-opening to me. I was just stunned at how bad musically these albums were, and having nothing to do with the loss of their lead singer. So you live and learn. Sometimes you learn the same things over and over again. But you do know, at least there's a fancy way of saying it, that correlation does not imply causation. And rock on.